great. Thank you for creating this, giving us the space here today to share. And we just have a few slides to go through. Really, what we want to do is give you a sense of what this tool is and what it can do, and let you know that we're doing a pilot and see if you might be interested in being part of that supported pilot. The CCP Planner was developed a year ago with a group of CCP mentors. And the idea was, the experiment really was to see if we could take the CCP handbook, which was developed by First Nations, and turn it into an online tool where planning coordinators could, or planning leads could go in, enter all of their information, follow the steps, keep track of all their information, their photographs, their posters, and create reports on their engagements and how many people they'd met with and how many they'd communicated with. And so that not only it's helpful for the person doing the planning, but in the event that that planner moves on or leaves or finds another job, that someone else can come in and then have access to all of that information still. Or that if a new planning person comes in and there's a team of people now, they can all work collectively in one space on the planning steps and see where they're at. So that was kind of the idea. And we sat down, met many times with this small group of mentors, including Jessie Hemphill and Sandra Harris, and other CCP folks. Colette Anderson was involved, for those of you that knew her when she worked at ISK. And we did this thing that we're going to show you. And this thing was developed, and now we want people to try using it to find out if it's actually useful or not. We have some funding from Indigenous Services Canada to pilot it this summer, and so we want to do that. So what does this thing do? It really is an online planning and reporting tool. It's pretty simple. We've called it the CCP Planner, which is a bit odd because it's the Comprehensive Community Planning Planner, but that's the best name we've come up with so far. But George has been great at thinking through some other possibilities, so stay tuned. And it was developed by and for First Nations who are doing CCP. It's available across the province, or it will be, once we've piloted it, and it really corresponds with the handbook. So it allows users to find information and resources for each of the steps they're at in or following in the CCP process. So there are tools and resource links under each step. It gives you a little bit of background on each thing. You can track your engagements, all of your engagement sessions and all of the communications that you do in community. You can save documents and photos. You can upload meeting agendas, meeting notes, photos from various sessions, and you can keep them all in one place and produce reports on what's been done. So if you enter, the more information you enter, the more complete your reports will be. So it can show, the reports can show you which steps are in progress or completed or not yet done or stalled. You can put up a little planning chart that shows you what you're going to be doing in each month of the planning process. It can show you all kinds of things. So, and George is going to give you a quick demo. Basically, we're looking for some communities to pilot this summer. We did find a few interested communities last week on the Notsmont Tribal Council call. And we are looking for a few more who are willing to work on it, try inputting your information in there. George is going to be available to really support you in that process and get your feedback. So we have $500 for each community participating, just as a recognition of the time you'll spend on this, but we hope it will be well worth your time. We just ask that you're currently developing a CCP at whatever stage. Implementation stage is a little harder because this is really pre-planning, planning kind of tool, that you're available to spend time entering the information and that you're willing to provide your feedback. Maybe even share some of your experiences with others if we end up rolling this out at the CCP workshop in October, which we'd love to do. So I'm going to give it George a few minutes to talk through a couple slides here. We just have a couple of screenshots, and then would love by a show of hands or by sharing in the chat to let us know if you'd like to learn more after this meeting, and we can hook you up with another meeting and a chance to connect. George.
Thank you, Helen. Yes, so you can see here that the CCP Planner is a web tool. So you access it over the internet. There will be a user account created for you to access this and log in. Anyone else that's on your team can also have a user account created for them so that they can log in, and you can work with your team members at the same time on the tool. Yeah, so this is just like the home page of the planner. It's a pretty straightforward tool or web page. Everything's kind of in 1 or 2 pages. It's not a very complex or convoluted tool, and you just kind of scroll up and down to access the different parts. So as we click through, we'll just be scrolling down. Yeah, I guess you can go to the next one there, Brahma. Yeah, and so here you can see that there's a pre-planning section and a planning section. Within each one, there are these different steps. So for here, we're looking at vision and values, goals and objectives, community analysis, and so on. And you just click on those different steps, and it pulls up different boxes, questions, and date ranges for you to input some of your data. And here's an example of an engagement section. You can track all of the engagements that you have done. You kind of enter the name, the type, the date, who you engaged, and how many people. And then as you do these over the course of your CCP, you can start to generate reports, which will show you all of the engagements done since the beginning, and how many people you've engaged, and how many of them have been elders or youth. And so it's just a nice way to kind of keep track of all of the people that have been part of the process. And then this is just an example of a report that you can generate. There are several different types. This is, I guess, what you would call a Gantt chart, but really what it is a schedule of the different steps of the planning process. So you have the option to enter in the start and end dates. Maybe they're finished and you know exactly when you were doing it, or you have kind of future predicted dates that you can enter. And then when you create this report, it'll kind of show you the different weeks of the calendar year. This, you can see we're in May, and when you're expecting to be able to do like the work plan and the funding and building your CCP team, which in this example overlap. So it's a nice way to kind of wrap your head around and visualize the progression of the CCP and all the steps that need to be done. Yeah, that's all the screenshots we have. For anyone that's interested, I'm definitely going to be available to do a more detailed walkthrough of the CCP Planner and kind of really work with you to understand more fully how to use it and how to enter information and how to make the most out of it. Yeah.
Thanks, George. Yeah, we were trying to keep it brief by just doing screenshots and not showing it all live, but there are lots of obviously drop downs and options. And I think a lot of really valuable functionality in there. And yeah, so Rasika, you confirmed you were interested. Thank you for listening again. If anyone else on the call would be interested in learning more and seeing if this tool could support your community process, then please either email at the email that we put up, mentorship@fnps.ca, or message George or myself in the chat, and we'll follow up with you.